At ease, it's your boy Soul Immortal with the Mortal Minds. You know, I could sit here and talk about MGTOW Monk, and I could sit here and say, leave women alone. But when I talk about that, guys, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to the guys that are already aware. I'm talking to the guys that have lived life long enough to know what it's like to interact with women. So a lot of times I want to speak to the younger guys, the guys that are still dating, the guys that are about to get married, and not from a place saying, hey, don't do this and don't do that. But if you're gonna go down that road, I at least want to give you some things to think about, right? So my question today is, are you dating or is it prostitution? Dating, a stage of romantic relationships where two people meet socially, possibly as friends, with the aim of assessing the other's suitability as a prospective partner. So a young man is out and about in today's world, and he sees a woman that he's interested in, right? So he approaches the woman. He engages in 30 seconds to 2.5 minutes of small talk to see if he's really feeling the woman. And if he is, he may invite the young woman out on a date, a coffee date, and exchange phone numbers, right? So the two meet for coffee. In my opinion, I feel like if the man has approached a young woman and asked her for some of her time, that he should cover the cost of all this coffee. I think that's normal. And after this coffee date, if this man is still feeling her or wants to get to know her better, he may invite her out for a small dinner, steak and potatoes or something like that, right? And so the date goes good. Again, this young man is trying to get to know this young woman a little bit better. He's invited her out. He's asked for her time. I feel like this man should fully cover the cost of this meal, my opinion. Maybe Sunday rolls around. Everybody's getting ready for the work week. And he asked this young lady out for maybe some ice cream and conversation. He may say, meet me down at the Marble Slab or the Baskin Robbins or whatever, man, just to hang out for a little bit. Again, I think that this man is asking for her time. He should cover the cost of the event, right? But in my mind, after this third interaction, this woman should know whether or not if she's interested in this man, right? At this point, the woman should be saying, hey, you know what? I'm just as interested in you. Hey, let me take you out for lunch. But they don't. At this point in time, the woman should be saying, hey, you know what? I'm kind of feeling you just like you feeling me. Meet me for ice cream, my treat. But they don't. At absolute minimum, this woman should be saying, hey, you know what? Let me come over to your spot. You come over to my spot, either or. And let me cook you a meal, just to show you that, hey, I'm just as interested in you as you are in me. But they don't. See, that's how it should be, but it's not. See, the thing that we've noticed, and we all talk about it, is that women today have this strong sense of entitlement. And I've seen video after video, man, of women, being interviewed by other women about, dating. And they're like, and in some of their minds, they're thinking, at no point in time should a woman pay for a date or anything like that. It's all they're entitled this just because they're women. But what I'm realizing, guys, is not just the entitlement. A lot of what's going on is some of these women are getting their business models confused. They're trying to live in 2017, but function in the old business model. For example, For example, let's say the year is 1970, right? And you're standing downtown on an intersection in any major city, and you want to get from point A to point B, right? What do? You pick up you go to a payphone, right? You call a taxi company, right? You talk to their dispatcher. You tell them where you are. They give you approximate time. You sit there. You wait on a cab. You go from A to B. You probably pay cash, and you go to your destination. Now fast forward to 2017. Same intersection, same city. You want to get from point A to point B. What do? You get your smartphone. You go to your Uber or your Lyft app. You do everything electronically. You pay for the bill. The guy comes. You get your ride from A to B. Everything is a completely different transaction. Now, the thing is, the companies that are still operating on the old business model, pick up and call our dispatcher, arrange this and all that, those companies are fading away. In 5 years, they won't even exist anymore. And that's what women are doing nowadays. They want to operate in 2017, but they want to use the 1950s business model, right? And the 1950s business model was this: a man found the woman that he was attracted to, right? He approached this woman, just like the old scenario. He was interested in this woman, and he was quick to make this woman his wife. Now, going forward in life, it was this man's responsibility to fully sponsor this woman. She pretty much stayed at home. Sometimes they had a job, but she was pretty much a housewife. He paid all the bills. He brought all the meat to the table. She did all the cleaning, the cooking, all that type of stuff. There was a definite line in the roles between men and women. That's the old business model. Now, the new business model is completely different. Due to feminism and other things, women have desired the roles that they play to be a little bit different. And I support that cause. At no point in time am I saying I don't think women should do this, or do that. I support that. But the thing is, women over the years have said, you know what? We want to be just like men. We want to vote. We want equal pay. We want to be CEOs. We want to be police officers. We want to do everything a man is entitled to do. But the thing is this: they want to pick and choose what comes and what stays. They want the new business model, but they want it a la carte. You know what I'm saying? They want men to still open doors. They want men to still fit the bills. They want men to still sponsor relationships, but they want to be high-ranking, CEOs and big companies. They want to be, judge. They want to be equal to a man, but they just want to pick what they want to pick. And that's what's really going on, man. And that's what you young guys have to learn and have to adjust to. When you're dating these women, you got to say, hey, you know what? Pick a business model. You know what I mean? Either you're going to be in business model A, or you're going to be in business model B. But you can't do both. Prostitution. Let's look at a prostitute. Prostitute, a person who does or offers to do any sexual activity for money and or material goods. Right? So when I think of prostitution, it said that prostitution is one of the oldest fields of work in existence, right? And I think back to the television shows I used to see growing up, man, where the guy would be out working all day, man. He would walk into the saloon with his 6-shooter on his hip, man, go to the bar, get him a cold beer. And afterwards, man, he would go to the madame and get the lady of his choice, right? Fast forward, man, to the days of pimps and hoes, right? Pimps wore the big coats, the furry hats, the big shoes, the big necklace. And the women just walked up and down the streets or or stood on the famous street corners, man, that everyone in the town or city knew about, right? But then you fast forward to today, man, and women are in a completely different business model, right? Women are on Craigslist and women are on Backpage. And again, everything is taking place on a smartphone. But is there a sector of prostitution that has gone undetected? Is there a genre of whoredom that has flown so low under the radar that not only are women not being prosecuted, but women are being incentivized by locking their John into a contract, the contract of marriage? Let's look at this definition again, guys. A prostitute, a person who does or offers to do any sexual activity for money and or material goods. So let's take a closer look at the modern Western woman. Okay, so for one, she has a sense of entitlement. We know that. But she feels like she shouldn't pay for any dates, any dinners, any ball games, any concerts, any meals, any events that you two engage in. They feel obligated. They feel entitled, rather, that they should have to pay for any of this stuff in 2017, right? Number two, if you ask a woman, hey, you know what, it'd be nice if you cook me a meal, or hey, I'm going to the gym, can you do my laundry for me? They feel like that's old fashioned, right? So at the end of the day, it's like, well, what is this woman bringing to the table? What is this woman offering to the relationship? And you sit down and ponder, and in a lot of situations, man, not all, but in a lot of relationships today, the only thing that women are offering is sex, right? So what you have to do, guys, if you're dating, you have to ask yourself this. If I take all this stuff away from the relationship, in other words, if I stop sponsoring everything, if I stop, buying this woman the purses, if I stop taking her to, the fancy restaurants, if I stop taking her to the concert, if I stop doing all these things that I'm doing, will she still be there? And the answer is no. And I made a video on that. I made a video, it's not about you, it's what you can do for her. So I can answer that question for you. Is no. And then you have to ask yourself, well, what is she offering? You know what I'm saying? And then you have to look at the definition again. In other words, all these things that you are doing compared to what she's giving. And I'll read that definition again, guys, because you got to read it a little different. Prostitute, a person who does or offers to do any sexual activity for money and or material goods, which means for money and or dinners and meals, for money and or concert tickets, for money and or Louis, Gucci, Prada, Fendi. You know what I'm saying? In other words, guys, these women are doing all this stuff in exchange for sex. So to the women that this applies to, to the women that want to have one foot in 2017 and the other foot in 1950, to the women that feel entitled that all they should have to bring to the table is sex. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but at the end of the day, by definition, don't get mad at me, get mad at Webster. But at the end of the day, you're just a prostitute. Like I was saying earlier, guys, it would be crazy of me to sit here and talk to you young men saying, you should be a MGTOW monk, or you should leave women out alone altogether. That's not my job. You know what I mean? This is not a channel where fire and brimstone will be thrown at guys that choose to date women or even marry a woman. My job is only to let you know the dangers and the hazards that's out there, and you can decide for yourself what you need to do. But you can look at my channel and you can look at the comments of the guys that have gone through some things, and you can learn a lot. But at the end of the day, it's going to be your decision. Um, it's going to be your decision to make. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I want you to do is just be aware and to be observant and to, if nothing else, raise the bar, man. I mean, you look back, man, at all the times you tried to date a woman at some point in your life, and she looked at you like you were out of her league, either because you were young or because you were flipping burgers at the time or whatever you were doing. So if women want the bar to be so equal, then it's time to make the bar equal. You know what I'm saying? If a woman wants to get with you and whatever, then you need to hold her to the same standard. If she's not up to par, you need to say, you know what, you're really not in my league. I'm used to living life like this, this, this. This is what I do on a regular basis. This is how I roll. And if you can't roll like that, you're technically out of my league. I mean, isn't that what they've been doing to us for years? You know what I'm saying? All I'm trying to say is raise the bar, guys, and be aware. But again, when you're interacting with these women, you should know if you're dating or is it prostitution. It's your boy Soul Immortal, and I'm out.
Look, I ain't that bitch that's about to get out here in this cold for no nigga nor no dick. Shit, I barely even want to get out here for these damn kids. But I will. For my kids. Not no nigga. Not no dick. Now we talking about some money. How much money? If we ain't talking five or better, nah, I can't do it, baby. Sorry.